Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the As I See It show. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Andy Urkel.
I'm your host, Bill Massantonio.
Okay, tonight we have a very exciting show. It should be an education for me, Bill.
We sure do, Andy. We're going to get you out to the racetrack tonight.
You're going to get me to the racetrack. We're going to be talking about standardbreds, thoroughbreds, pacers, trotters, a little bit of everything. But before we bring our guests and introduce them to you, I have just one comment to make. I'm going to cut them down tonight, Bill.
Oh, yeah? You're not working on lawyers tonight, are you?
No lawyers tonight, but it is controversial. We have something here in America. It's called a tilt-rotor Osprey helicopter. It's 5 years in advance of any other country. This helicopter is phenomenal. It can go straight up, straight down. It can take off like an airplane, fly like an airplane. And in times of hurricanes, tornadoes, any type of holocaust that would happen, this plane could be our answer. I mean, it is phenomenal. It is just a piece of high technology that no other country has. The Japanese have seen it, and they said if we don't build it, they will. They're right behind us. They're on track. Congress allocated $900 million to keep progress going on this plane, and Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney, for some odd reason, is holding it up, and he won't release the money. And I don't like to say it, but I think there's a payoff here, because the Japanese said they want it, they will build it, they will sell it to us. That's how bad they want it.
That's typical American, isn't it?
Dick Cheney, if he lets this piece of technology go, it's going to be a black mark on our history. It's just, this plane can see in the dark. It does
I've heard about it.
It's phenomenal. So remember what I said and start calling your congressman. Don't let this piece of technology slip out of our hands. The tilt-rotor Osprey. And that's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say tonight, Andy? Okay, because we do have a very full show. I'm not going to have any comments tonight, Andy. I just want to say about make sure that you watch next Thursday's show. It's going to be a great one. That's April the 16th. We have Jerry McCarthy, a man high up in the Helmsley group. He will tell us all about Harry and Leona Helmsley. I think she's sentenced, Andy, the 15th, and so he'll be on the 16th. He's already been on Joan Rivers' show, but this is the first time he's been in Delaware. And I already talked with him about an hour, and I'll tell you, he's one interesting man. And you're going to learn a lot of things about what Leona did. So if you want to find out about him firsthand, tune in to As I See It show on the 16th.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that, Bill. So let's go to a brief commercial, and when we come back, we'll introduce our guests for tonight. So don't go away.
The Roebling Company has been in business for almost 9 decades. We install steam and hot water heat, do residential plumbing, commercial, and industrial. The Roebling Company designs and installs water systems, sales and installation of shallow well and deep well pumps. Water conditioning is our specialty. The Roebling Company can take that unpleasant chlorine taste out of your tap water. It's just like getting crystal clear spring water from your faucet. The Roebling Company is a family-owned and operated business, and we use only quality materials. If you have a problem with your water, call the Roebling Company anytime, 24 hours a day, and a skilled plumber will be promptly dispatched to service your needs. Call the Roebling Company at 656-8726.
Merrill's Antiques buys and sells gold, silver, and diamonds, coins, antiques, and collectibles, Hummel figurines, vintage costume jewelry, records and CDs. Family owned and operated for over 20 years, Merrill's is a licensed pawnbroker and will lend you money on anything of value. Quick cash, no hassle, friendly service, and great bargains at Merrill's Antiques in Ellesmere on Kirkwood Highway at DuPont Road. Open weekdays 9:30 to 7, 10 to 5 on Saturday. Call 994-1765.
Okay, Andy, we're back, and I guess tonight we're going to the races.
Well, this sounds exciting to me,
Yeah,
but
I think it's going to be, and it's going to be the standardbreds and the thoroughbreds. So if you're a lover of either one, tonight's a good night to watch the As I See It show. So we'll start with the gentleman closest to our right, Andy. He's a trainer and driver of standardbreds, has been doing this for 14 years as an owner and an independent driver, and that's Bob Crowley. Bob, welcome to As I See It show.
Thank you very much.
And sitting next to him is a trainer of thoroughbreds, and he trains for the Buckland Farms, one of the biggest farms, I think, in this country. And all of his life, he's been training horses, mostly in the East Coast and partial in Midwest and so on. And this is Ross Pierce. Ross, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
And Ross, you have horses now at Delaware Park, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Well, Andy, what do you think? You want to go to the races? We're going to teach you something about racing tonight.
okay, you have some clips, I understand,
Yeah, okay. Why don't we show that one of those first?
because I'm not too familiar with this. I guess I'm the only one in this crowd that doesn't know too much about horse racing.
Okay, we have quite a few. Here we are. We're going to show some
the
training.
training
Ross,
clip
will
here.
you cut in on this?
So this is a filly training in the morning. This is a workout a few days before an actual race. And what we're doing here, she's just loosening up now very slowly. And when she gets around to the back of the track, from the half-mile pole, there you see her. She's breezing off in the distance. Now she's going fast. We probably go 12 seconds to every eighth of a mile. And this will be just to expand her lungs and get her prepped up for the race that she's going to be running in 2 days. This filly is a filly by Aladar named Meteor Alley. And
Aladar, that's quite a horse.
yeah, she's a very well-bred filly. She's actually, this was taken a couple years ago, but she's actually a broodmare now, but she did win some races. And now she's coming down the stretch, and she's not completely all out, but having a fair bit of work there.
And this is what you do with them in the morning, is that it?
Yes, this is a morning workout now.
You train these horses every morning?
Every morning. Well, like say after that workout, and then the next morning she might just have a walk to wind down, but then the next day she'll go back to training.
Say you have a race coming up on a Saturday. How far in advance would you start prepping?
Well, it depends on when their last race was. The type of individual, you don't train them all the same way. That's my job, is to know what they need and when they need it. Some horses we might give a 5/8 of a mile workout 3 days out. Another one we might give a half mile 2 days out. And some of them we even go a quarter of the morning of the race before.
How can you tell what to do with which horse? I mean, where does this
Well,
come
it
into
comes
play?
from a lot of years of experience and being around different horses, and you learn to see which type and kind of horse,
This
what
is
they
stuff
need.
you don't read in the books, right?
You can't read this in a book. You got to go out there and actually experience it.
How about that? Okay. All right, Andy, do you think we ought to run the, let's run the tape for the trotting race here. That way we get both of them on the TV, and then we'll...
Okay, that was a thoroughbred.
That was the
Take it.
thoroughbred. Now this is
Okay,
the trotters. Now,
trotters.
Bob, will you explain this to the
Sure,
viewers?
I'm on the number 5 horse in this race, and this is a horse that was actually raised by a neighbor of mine in West Grove, Pennsylvania. This is racing down at Rosecroft. He's a trotter, which means he's diagonally gaited, as compared to pacers. Both are standardbreds, but they have different gaits. And the trotters are more balanced. This is a more natural gait for them to be at, whereas the pacing gait is a learned gait, and they'll wear hobbles. The horse got away 4th in here. I know from the tote board when we're scoring down that the horse sitting in the 2 holes is the favorite for the race.
It is.
Yeah, and so he's getting a pretty good trip, but the horse on the front end I think was like 8-1 or 9-1, so he's going to be pretty good. The favorite's not going to be that anxious to get out from where he is. So as we go to past the half here, this is a 5/8 mile track. I'll move my horse over to the outside, and the man who's sitting 3rd will come over and actually lock the favorite in. And this is something that happens quite often in standardbreds that sometimes discourages people because they'll feel like the best horse doesn't win. But this is more of a strategic type of racing. It's very similar to, I compare it like to NASCAR, where the thoroughbreds are more like the Formula Ones, yeah, on the big tracks. These are on smaller tracks, it's tighter fields.
And I say, right now you're following the number 3 horse,
I'm
aren't you?
following the horse that's actually second, so I'm actually what they call second over. I'm sitting 4th in the field, but I'm second over, so I'm on the outside. I have plenty of time now to make a move in the stretch. So we just passed the 3/4 pole.
I see you're making your move.
So I
now.
start bringing them to the outside now, start pressing the leaders here. Because these horses sometimes on the front, they'll hang on and wait for you to come to make a brush in the lanes. And it makes for very competitive racing. And ideally, I would have loved to get back down and keep that 2 in. But you'll see, he'll get out, but it'll just be a little bit too late. He just gets a little bit of room here. But I still have enough to hang on to win the race.
Okay, there we have
That was
the
interesting.
Trotters and Bob Crowley winner.
Let me ask you a question, Bob. Like I said, I've only been to 3 races in my life, and years ago I went to a Trotters race up at Brandywine. Knew nothing about horses, but I saw a name I liked, Hernell Direct. I don't know if you ever heard of the horse. It was 40 to 1, and not knowing any better, I put $2 on that. The horse was 5 lengths ahead of everybody coming around the turn, and in their terminology, they said he broke stride. Now, of course, I was blaming the jockey. I said he did it on purpose. But what happens in a race like that?
Sometimes they get sore. Sometimes they have equipment problems. But probably late in the race like that, the horse probably got a little tired and lost his concentration. If it was a pacer, they seem to be able to hang on a little more because they wear more equipment. That's another thing that's different with the standardbreds is the trainers have a whole variety of equipment that you can help the horse race. They wear hobbles. They wear head poles, which is a pole to keep their head straight. We put on blinders. We have different bits, gating straps to keep them straight in the bike. So, it could have been track conditions made or break, equipment problems, or the horse just got tired.
Okay.
And they do. I've had them break stride right, I mean the ones I'm betting on, Andy, right at the finish line. That's disheartening. Of course, I wanted to show my big part of the night tonight that Bob Crowley knows that I was once in with a group that we owned some horses, the Trotters, and here is one. This is 301 at Free State. I don't know if you can see that or not. What am I doing wrong, Betty? Oh, okay, there we are. This was a $36,000 race, and I think it was the Maryland Sires, wasn't it, Bob Crowley, when we won that race, something like that?
Yeah, I
it was
think
a
that
big
was-
Maryland race, anyhow.
Maryland Sires.
Yes, we won that one, and hang on there, Betty. Now this was our biggie. This was the Betsy Ross at Brandywine. Anybody that ever went to Brandywine knows about this race, and we won that race with this horse, a big upset. So I had some fun in the races too. I'm not in it anymore. I got good sense. No, not really.
We have calls coming in already, Bill. We weren't going to take them that fast, but they're coming in. But before I get to the calls, I want to ask one thing. At the starting gate, sometimes you see all these things happening inside the gate. How do you train a horse to get in there and be calm and break when that gate opens? What is there that the regular viewing public out here don't know what's happening there?
Right, well, we start breaking them as a very young age, actually before they even turn 2 years old, to the starting gate. And basically we just start off slowly. First day you go to the gate, you just let them look at it. Just be around it, walk by it. And then it depends on the temperament of the horse. So the thoroughbreds are different. Some of them are wild and some are just calm. It depends on their high strung, and it just takes a lot of repetition, and we'll just ease
something they fear? Is the starting gate something?
Some of them do fear it, some of them don't. Some of them they get in there and they feel confined, and they jump around and they hurt themselves, and then they're scared of that. Then you got to start all over again.
You just let them stand in the gate for a while.
Yeah, we'll let them see it, then we'll walk through it. Just let them hand lead them through with a rider on their back. And then once they get confident with that, then we'll stop them in there and then just lead them out. And then we'll stop them and close up the back doors so they still have an opening in front of them. And then once they're confident with that, we'll close up all the doors, and then they'll learn to just slowly come out of the gate, and then we'll start speeding them up. And it's just a repetition is the name of the game.
What
there.
signal is given to start that race? Is there a bell, or what is
When the starter hits the button, the gates open, and then there's a bell rung behind the horse. It's rung just a split second after the gates open.
But they really respond to the gate opening, don't they?
Yes, they've been taught to break from that, and we start off slow, but we just keep increasing it as they learn and adapt to it.
Okay, I don't know if the horses know what's happening. Do they actually know that they are in a race to beat the other horse, or are they just following the instructions of the jockey? I mean, do they?
To me,
Either one.
well, the thoroughbreds, and I'm sure the standardbreds too, are a very competitive animal. They're bred on purpose to be competitive, and
They're athletes.
They're athletes, and that's what they're
trained.
They're trained to do that, and they do have a competitive spirit.
Right.
Just like a human, some will have more and some will have less. And the good ones that have a great competitive spirit and have the ability are your champions, and the ones that are not competitive are the ones that you don't see too much of.
Yeah.
$2,000 claim.
Something else happens with these horses too is they'll cycle. They'll be good for 3, 4, maybe even 6 weeks, and then they'll
Yes.
peak and go down, just like athletes do. So you kind of got to watch. If you watch one horse race over the year, you'll know when he's good and when he's not, and that competitive spirit will come out when they're at their best form.
Yes, and it's usually when I bet on them is when they're on it down.
Okay, we have a few questions coming in. It says,
Yes, we do. You want to ask that
Ross,
one?
how long is a furlong?
Furlong is 1/8 of a mile.
Eighth of a mile. And to Bob, there's a question here. What kind of equipment is used for trotters versus pacers?
Okay, trotter doesn't wear hobbles. Okay, pacers will wear straps around their legs. A pacer's legs on the same side will move together. Trotters will wear boots behind. They'll wear more weight on their back end. Trotters are balanced, so the shoes are different too. And an important thing is that they're different bloodlines. They come from different sires and different mares. So they're either trotting bred or pacing bred.
And Ross, what's the difference between claimers and allowance races?
Well, a claiming race is you enter the horse for a claiming price, and if someone that's already an owner or was getting in the game wants to buy that horse, they can actually, as soon as the gates open, they own that horse. Allowance race is for horses that you don't want to get claimed, or they're not for sale, and they're basically just running for the purse, and no one can buy that horse out of the race. It's not a selling race.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we have a caller, Andy.
Hello, you're on the air. Hello, you have a question for our guest?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's more money in the trotters as far as purses go, or more money in the thoroughbreds. I mean, just overall.
Okay, thank you for your call.
Thanks.
More money in trotters, more money in thoroughbreds. Either one of them.
Who's going to answer
I
that?
really don't know the answer to that. We have the Breeders' Cup races where they give away $10 million in one day now, so that's like our Super Bowl.
So
But
we have Breeder Cup, but they spread it out over a couple months.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
it's funny, both of us being horse trainers, we don't know. We don't follow each
Right.
other's
The other game.
business. It's a totally different business, and we don't. When we're at Garden State, then Bob's somewhere else. So, and then in Meadowlands, and when I'm at the Meadowlands, he's at Garden State type of thing. So we don't really get to see each other, and don't
Right,
get to
you don't
see much
cross.
of those horses racing, and don't follow it in racing forums or the news.
Yeah, the different tracks, is there anything that is basically real different if you're in Garden State or if you're in Brandywine or if you're in Saratoga or whatever? Is there a
Absolutely.
big difference between tracks?
Yeah. In standardbreds, there's different track sizes to begin with. If you go to Freehold over in New Jersey, you're at a half-mile track. Garden State's a mile track, and Rosecroft down in Maryland's a 5/8 mile track. So different horses will respond differently to the turns and being on the straightaway. And another thing is the track surfaces are a little bit different depending on where the stone dust came from.
In weather conditions.
Is that what it is on the track, stone dust?
Yes.
Is that what it is there?
And the thoroughbreds, there's a base of stone and stone dust, and then we have loam on the top of that. Our racetrack's softer
Soft dirt.
dirt
Okay.
than compared to to the trotting tracks, and where we race, they change the tracks in between. They'll take up the whole surface and put down another surface. You know, when the trotters leave and thoroughbreds come in, we will never train on the same surface.
What about weather conditions? Do you have to do something differently? Do you?
Well, we do. When a wet track, we'll put bandages on to keep, when the horses hit the ground and they slide and they hit the bottom of their ankles, we put bandages on to keep them from, you know, hurting themselves. Some horses like to run in the muds. We race on the turf also a lot in this country. And some horses like a hard track, some like a soft, deeper track. It all depends on their conformation, how they're built, and
Do you do anything special for different tracks, Bob? Or
Yeah,
different races?
Yeah, we'll change shoes depending on what track we're at. We might add boreum, or we might go to a swedge, or, you know, different grabs to help
So-
give them more traction if we feel they need it. Or if they're going to be on a softer track, we might go to a softer shoe, like an aluminum shoe, which will give them some slide.
Now, when they change shoes like that, and evidently you do it often, does the horse's hoofs deteriorate from that at all? Because I know they put nails in.
It is hard, yeah. They nail them. Now, when they change shoes and it's not a reset or a trimming, the blacksmith clinches the nails back to the same holes
Oh, okay.
in the horse's hoof.
Okay, now you have races coming up, and I guess you know ahead of time who the jockeys are going to be. Would you do something different with the horse because of a different jockey that would ride the horse differently? Do you get into that part of it?
no, basically, you pick a jockey to just say, or whoever you get the best that you can get. But if you have a horse that's got some kind of quirk or some problem that you think that this jockey's style would help him, then you might put him on. As far as the training, you're going to train the horse for whoever's going to ride him probably the same way, because you're trying to, you know, to get that horse to run his best. And most of your good jockeys, you can tell them to be a speed rider, go to the front and try to go all the way in front, or to wait a little bit. And this filly likes to run from out of off the pace.
So you basically train
So,
the
but
jockey to match the horse?
basically, what we do is we tell the jockey after we saddle the horse, we have a little session, or sometimes we call them the night before and say, this is what we want to do tomorrow. We look over the competition, how much speed, how many come from behind horses, and we make a decision then. And the ultimate decision is to him out there. I mean, he doesn't always follow you to the letter, because of the conditions change. You don't know what's going to happen out there. Somebody you thought was going to have the horse that had the speed, the horse doesn't break well or something, so then he has to make the decision to go to the lead at that time, and he does have to make a decision out there.
The jockey makes a decision on the spot.
On the spot, but sometimes it doesn't always go like you want it
But
to.
would you say generally the horse does the winning as opposed to, say, the jockey?
Yeah, I'd say in standardbreds, it's about 80% horse.
80% horse. How about in
Yeah.
thoroughbreds?
I'd say probably about the same thing. I mean, you got to have a good horse. You can't make them run any faster than they're capable to run.
Exactly. And a good jockey can get that out of the horse.
Yes.
But if he does a certain thing at a certain time, sometime he wins.
Right.
Okay, we got another question.
We've got a lot of questions coming in.
Said, was there anything that the people could have done to save Brandywine, and who was really behind Brandywine's downfall?
I don't think there was anything anyone could have done. John Rollins just did not want to race anymore, and he didn't want to sell the property. There were parties that did approach him to see if he would sell it so they could keep it as a racetrack, and they're content just to sit on it for right now.
Okay.
All right, and how do owners decide who will ride their horse at their particular race?
At the thoroughbreds?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it,
Owners, trainers.
owners, trainers, that's what I was going to say. You talk to your owner and see who, a lot of it's who you can get. You always try to get the best jockey you can get. And different jockeys do have different styles. If you think that jockey's style would fit that horse better, then you try to get that jockey. If he doesn't have a commitment to ride in that race, you make a commitment with him through his agent, and then he's scheduled to ride for you.
Is that what you fellas do? You call up like before the race and say, I want you to ride my horses?
I don't have to call anyone. I actually.
You do all the
I do
riding?
it all,
do you?
yeah. So
you have
if I
nowhere
want
to
to
go.
change my strategy, I can change it on the spot. I don't have to tell anybody.
Okay. Now, Ross, is that what you do? Because you evidently, your stable has a lot of horses. And a lot of
Yes,
horses run.
well, I have a good filly named Risen Colony that won 5 races in a row this winter, 3 of them stakes, and she's getting ready to run in a stake in New York in the top flight. And Herb McCauley was riding her last 2 races, and she was 2nd and 4th. And I talked to the owner a couple days ago, and we decided we'd make a change with the jockey just to see if maybe another jockey got along with him. And plus, Jose Santos is who we picked out to ride the filly, and he'd been in Florida all winter at Gulfstream Park, so he's back in New York riding, and I called his agent, and I got a commitment from him, and now he'll ride that filly for the first time in about a week.
How about that? Can we ask, or is this something we don't ask, what would a top jockey get for riding a horse? Or is that something we don't discuss?
No, that's fine. There's a flat fee. I think in New York they get $100 plus 10% of what the horse makes. So if the horse runs, wins a $200,000 race, the owner gets 60% of that, which would be $120,000, and he'd get $12,000 plus his flat fee. I think in Delaware Park, I think just a ride, a losing mount, say they didn't finish 1, 2, 3. I think it's $35 to $50 is what he'd get for that
Is that
mount.
about the same with the trotters?
No, that's not. They're getting paid better.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Yeah, we.
Well, you got to talk to the union.
Yeah, drivers. The track withholds 5% of the horse's earnings for the driver and 5% for the trainer, and then the driver relies on a fee from the owner that's negotiated privately.
Okay, now do we want to show Andy at this time the
Yeah, we
other
do have
race?
another
Yeah, we
clip.
have a race at Delaware Park.
So let's
We
take a
haven't
look
shown
at
that
that.
yet, have we? I don't think we have. And this is your horse, right, Ross?
Yes. There's a
you'll
filly
tell us
named
there we
Proud
go.
and Pleasant.
There we go.
This is Delaware Park going 6 furlongs. It's 3/4 of a mile. And that's her in front right now. She broke well, and she stays there. Even pulls out to a little bit farther. That's the first quarter mile. They went in 21 4/5 seconds.
Do you like them to break out that?
Well, it just depends on the style. It really does. This is what we call a sprint race, going 6 furlongs, and this filly seemed to be capable of doing that. So we told the jockey to go ahead with her, and she won this race. Some of your route races or your longer races around 2 turns, like a mile, mile and 1/8, you might want to give them not push them the first part of it, just let them sit back there and then try to run the other horses down later.
You were probably there watching that race. Did you have any concerns? Were you worried in any way at all?
Oh, you're always concerned something's going to happen. She's going to get tired or hurt herself in the race. But it's a very anxious moment. The minute and 11
They
seconds.
simply run out of gas sometimes, don't they?
Sometimes they do. It depends, how they're feeling that day or if they've got a little problem.
Okay, what about their diet? Is there something special about that that could mean more for some horses than others?
Well, we feed them at the exact same time every day. We feed 3 times a day. They get oats and sweet feed and vitamins, and they got hay, and there's different kinds of diet that we give to horses that don't breathe very well. We might bed them on shavings as opposed to straw, because the straw seems to give an allergic reaction sometimes with
Now, what's a signal that the horse doesn't breathe well?
Well, you got to
What do
hear
you
it,
say?
and you can
hear
also
it?
scope it, put an endoscopic machine down their nostril and see how they breathe, and there's
It's pretty
different
technical,
things.
doesn't it?
It is very technical. isn't
Yeah.
it?
How about that? The one thing that I think I've noticed as a difference over here at Delaware Park, I see most of the horses on Lasix. As I remember, Bob, when we were racing, you couldn't use Lasix. Is that correct?
They can't, for harness racing in Delaware, actually this year they did allow Lasix at Dover Downs, and this was the first year they've had a Lasix ruling in Delaware.
You want to expand on either one of you, why one allows it and one doesn't? And what does Lasix do for the
Well, Lasix
people
is
don't
a
know.
diuretic, and it'll help horses who bleed from their lungs or in their trachea. And when they bleed, it shuts down their air so the horse can't perform to its peak. So track management, that's also to protect the horse. They give it Lasix to cure this bleeding. But the reason it's different is there's different racing commissions. There's a harness racing commission and a thoroughbred racing commission, and they make their own rules.
Yeah, but the thoroughbreds, there was one of the things that bothered me, and then quickly we'll go to a phone call we have here, and maybe Ross, you can, they allow it in the thoroughbreds, right? There's no problem.
No, not in every state. New York does
they
not
don't?
allow it.
Okay.
Canada just got it, I think, this year. Basically, the reason I think they don't allow it in some places is because they think that, you know, if the horse is bleeding, then there's something wrong. His lungs there's an infection or something.
Okay.
And the Lasix is masking something. Personally, I think that you know, I'd much rather see the horse have a diuretic and to stop it from having that pain of the lungs hurting. But some people just, some racing commissions don't believe in running a medication, and you're not allowed to use it.
Okay, good. I think that clears that up a little.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, you're on the air. Hello?
Yes, I was wondering about how you get into the harness racing business.
How do you get into the harness racing business?
Or horse racing.
Thank you for your call. We'll let these gentlemen answer that for you. How do you get into the harness racing business?
Well, normally you would go out to your local track and you might talk, there's an organization called the Standardbred Owners Association, and you might talk to them and get some recommendations from them. You can also talk to the racing secretary at the local tracks and ask them for recommendations, because you want to get someone who's reliable and someone you can trust, because there are it is an expensive investment that you're going to make for racing, and you know, you want to be sure that you're not just going to be taken.
Okay, this was a joke.
A lot of calls coming.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in here. Well, let's go through this. Why does an Arabian horse go slower than a thoroughbred? Ross will ask you that.
Well, I never have trained Arabian horses. It's basically their conformation, I'd say, and there is some Arabian blood in the thoroughbred way back.
There is?
Yes, and the thoroughbred was a combination of different breeds to make, they were bred to race. The Arabian horses were basically not bred to, they've just started and then recently to breed them to race. So they'll probably will get faster as the years come on, but they're will never be as fast as the thoroughbred.
Well, they're smaller too, aren't they?
They're smaller, and their gait's a little bit different, and it's not as extended.
And to Bob, why does a trotter go slower than a pacer? Or is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
And the reason is that the pacer can rock, and he gets more power out of legs on the same side than a trotter will.
Is that the reason?
Yeah.
Andy's got a question here that's the same
You just
caller.
never know what our viewers I expect something like this, and it's Mr. Ed, a thoroughbred.
Mr. Ed's not a thoroughbred.
Not thoroughbred.
Okay, what are some of the big races you've had horses in, Russ? I mean, there's different levels of races, so...
Yes, I've run 3 horses in the Breeders' Cup for the $1 million races. I have never won that. I won the Sword Dancer at Belmont Park. That's worth $290,000. I won the John A. Morris, which we have a clip of, with a filly named Colonial Waters, and that
Yeah, we
was
want to show
100
that
and some thousand.
That was 100 some thousand?
And where was that? At,
That was at Saratoga, and that's in upstate New York.
let's see if we can run that now. Bill.
Okay. Then also, as the trainer, as you're a trainer, of course, you drive and train, but you get a fee for that. Okay, here we go.
This is at Saratoga, right?
Yes, this is Saratoga. This is what we call a grade 1 stake, which is rated by a committee, and this is the grade 1 race are the most prestigious races to win. My filly's 4th here. Her name's Colonial Waters. Saratoga is only a month long, and it's a great meet, and all the best horses in the country really come there for that month. It's great racing, and it's always nice to win one of these big races there to put you on the map, so to speak.
All right, gets you up in the first class.
Here she's moved up to 3rd here, This race, I believe, was 1 mile and 1/8 compared to the 6 furlong race we saw before. It's almost twice the distance. You know, almost. So this is a big, large filly, and you see how big her stride is. She just kind of lopes along. And it's not you can't push her too fast the first part of the race because she becomes discombobulated. So you just kind of let her get herself together. When she gets her stride, and then she'll come on at the end, as you'll see.
So she's really not what we call a front runner.
Right, yeah, that's just not her style. And just because of her size and the way she moves, her conformation.
Well, she's coming on here.
Now she's moved up to second.
Top account joined by Rope Boom. Rose's Cantina remains in 5th. They're in the stretch.
That must be quite a thrill, really.
Yes, and now she's drawing clear, and she'll win this race.
What are you doing at this?
This is Angel Cordero riding her.
Oh, is that Angel Cordel's on here? Yeah, Andy asked, what are you doing at this point?
Jumping up and down and screaming.
I can imagine.
Second and third, Colonial Waters in front.
That was a nice race. I can remember we won the Betsy Ross, and it's not as prestigious as this one. Jumping up and down just didn't get it of everything. I mean, first of all, I thought our driver was driving a bad race, but instead he knew what he's doing. He came 5 wide and took the race.
Right.
What do you think?
Okay, now how is you're training the horses? You're in a big prestigious race like this. Now the owners, who do they put the pressure on? The trainer, the jockey, the horse? What are the owners?
We try to shuffle it back and forth.
That must be a lot of pressure.
It all depends on the owner and how lucky, you know, how much you win and when you win and how many times you win. And I mean, things happen to horses in horse racing. They get injured. And I've made mistakes with horses too. I might have breezed them too fast right before the race and took a little bit of their endurance out of them, and the horse not win. So I have made mistakes. Owners make you run in better races than the horse should go in because they want the prestige, and the horse isn't capable of winning that race. And then, so everybody's at fault once in a while. You just the successful people are the ones that aren't at fault too much.
How much warm-up does a horse need prior to a race to loosen his muscles up, and does he need a lot of warm-up time? Or?
You found the trotters need much?
Yeah, trotters need, in fact, trotters even need more than pacers.
They do.
Sure. A typical warm-up for a trotter might be he'll go out and jog 2 miles, actually what we call the wrong way of the track. It's not the racing way. And then you might turn and work a mile in 2:40, come back, let him stand for a half hour, and then take him back out again and work a mile in about 2:20.
How do you know when they've had enough?
Well, he's not had enough yet. This just gets them warm. No, now
I thought he lost it already.
Now you'll blanket them and keep them warm, and the grooms will rub different lotions on them and, you know, kind of give them a little bit of a rub down. And that's to get ready for a race. And then you'll have about 40 minutes to catch his breath before he goes out for a race.
How much time do you, Ross, on the third?
Well, we do it differently. Some horses need different bits of workout before. We might give them a blowout, as we call it, the day before, some the morning of, but we wouldn't right before a race. What we'll do is after the horse is saddled and the jockey's up, there'll be about 10 minutes before we run, and the horse will jog or gallop, and some of them I'll let gallop strong at that time if they need to loosen up and get a little more air in their lungs. And some of them we'll just walk quietly to the gate. They're excitable. We just walk them next to a pony and just let them walk, and they're already warm from their themselves getting themselves psyched up. It's just different with each horse.
Yeah, each horse has its own temperament. So.
Another caller on the line. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. Could one of those race dogs beat a horse in a race?
A race dog?
Greyhound?
Probably Greyhound. You're speaking of Greyhound?
Well, that's one I didn't expect.
And another thing, what are you going to have, Leona Helmsley on the show?
No. This was a gentleman, Jerry McCarthy, that worked for, actually, he worked for Harry. And then, of course, Harry married Leona, and that's how she got involved.
Just picture Leona Helmsley. Doesn't she look like the creature from the Black Lagoon?
We're not going to comment on anything like that. But watch the show next Thursday.
He's trying to get us in trouble now. Okay, now, do you remember the question?
I don't know the answer. I've never.
Can a greyhound run as fast as a...
I'd say
Oh, yes,
not,
that's
but,
I'd say not either.
but
Yeah.
it's just, we don't train greyhounds, so it would be hard to know.
And this is a, well, this question here is something that everybody asks, I'm sure, and then we'll ask answer best you can. Are races fixed? Some of them. Do you know anything about that?
No, there's been accusations.
Yeah, right. And I guess this is what this
I was at a race
caller is
at
asking.
Garden State where state police came in. They called all the drivers in. It was the first race up there. And they said that they had a call from Las Vegas that there was some funny betting going down in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be sure that that race went off clean. And they said if you weren't up on that gate and firing out of there, it was going to cost you money. They just said they'd be in our pockets, you know. So,
kidding.
yeah. And the FBI were there to oversee it, and it went off as clean as could be, really, you know. But
I would suppose, like anything else, it's policed very well. Don't you agree?
absolutely,
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a good.
they're
good
always
sport.
watching betting pools and looking for any peculiarities.
Yeah, I'm sure
that
they
might
watch
tip
it.
them off that something funny's going on.
Of course, the guy who loses always claims it's fixed, you know.
Are you allowed to bet on the horse that you drive or the horse that you train, or
Depends
is
on
there any
on
rules
the
against
state
that?
rules for harness racing. I'm racing at Pocono Downs right now. And they actually have a parimutuel window in the paddock where the drivers
Oh,
go up
so
and race.
they can bet. How about the
At
thoroughbreds,
that track they
Ross?
can, yeah.
Yeah, we could bet on our horses, but if we're running a horse, we're not supposed to bet on somebody else's horses.
Right, same
Okay.
thing. We have to use our horse in the win position only,
Yes.
Okay, okay.
if it's our race, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we can bet on any other race, but we don't have a horse in, bet on any horse we want to, but we're not supposed to bet on
Okay.
anybody else's horse in our race, because then you might tell the jockey to take a hold of your horse and don't let him win, and we're going to bet on this long shot. So that's why that practice.
I have a two question, I guess, Andy, for this one. And the first we'll start with Bob. The jockeys are always little guys. What is the approximate weight of a jockey?
That's probably for Ross.
Oh, yeah,
Ross, I'm sorry, and Bob, we'll get to you because I see big guys on these things.
approximate weight's 108 pounds, 105 to 108. Ideal, when the jockey is an apprentice, when he's just learning, he's supposed to be lighter because he gets a weight advantage. So that jockey might be 95 to 100, and then as the jockey gets older, he naturally gains a little more weight, and they like to keep themselves right about 105, 108 or something like that.
So we'll come back to some of that, and Bob, I think we have a phone call here.
Hello, you're on the air.
So I'd like to ask Ross a question. What is meant by the term being caught in a blind switch? And also, what happens when two horses are or two people claim the same horse in the same race? Who gets the horse?
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your call.
I guess the same thing would happen in trotters. You're caught in a blind switch. You're just boxed in behind horses. You got a horse. You got the rail on the inside. You got a horse in front of you, another horse on the outside of you, and you might have the best horse, but you can't get the horse out of there to run, and you cannot just run over another horse. That's how accidents caused. So I'd say, and that probably happens in trotters too.
Something that the tracks in harness racing are trying new things, and at Freehold Raceway they've made a inside passing lane. So as you come into the stretch, they've opened up a lane to the inside that you can go in. And harness racing, they're also taking away the hub rail. I don't know, I should have pointed it out when we showed the Rosecroft tape, but there's no hub rail. They only have pylons.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So they're trying to alleviate the
boxing.
The boxing in,
Yeah. I would always get frustrated with that. You'd have your horse out there, it's all prepped to go, and they get boxed in. Could never show its potential at all.
Yeah.
'Cause it's in there and it can't get out.
People complain over post positions in harness racing too, and they've now gone to a staggered starting gate. The gate's not straight across the track, so the outside horses actually have a length lead when the starter says go.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The other thing that was part of my question we didn't get to you, Bob, the jockeys are 105 and so on, but I see big guys in these little sulkies.
Oh, yeah.
Why doesn't that harm the horse? Because he's dragging more weight, and I never fully understood that.
Well, there's a couple things that are going on. One thing is it's a rolling start, so the horse doesn't have to take the momentum to bring that driver up to speed. He's already up to speed. And the way that racing bike is designed, it's the driver's sitting behind the wheels and you're actually lifting on the horse.
So you're not pulling that.
Yeah, there's very little weight on the animal itself.
Okay. Because I know I saw that, and you know yourself, that some of those drivers are big guys.
On the question that he asked about when two people claim the same horse,
Yes.
they
Oh,
just
I'm
shake.
sorry.
They just shake the pills, and they'll have to put two pills in, and the one with the number 1 on it gets the horse, and it's the luck of the draw.
Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot about that part of that question. I'm glad you brought that up.
We did have another clip, Bill. I don't know if you wanted the other clip.
Yeah,
or
what is the other clip here?
Pacers?
Saratoga, we have one.
No, we saw
We just
Saratoga.
did
We saw that one,
Saratoga.
did we?
I think we have one.
Okay, we
left
have one for the
clip, so
Pacers.
let's-
Now, we saw the Trotters, didn't we, Bob?
Yes, we did.
Okay, now, the Pacers are a little different.
A little different. This is down at Dover Downs in Dover, Delaware. And I've forgotten what number I am here.
Okay, you're in this race, right?
Yeah, and these horses at Dover, they still have a hub rail, and so it's kind of hard to see. Maybe when they come into the stretch, you'll be able to see that they're wearing hobbles around their legs, and that they're actually moving legs on the same side at the same time.
It goes so fast, it's hard to see it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm driving a horse called Mississippi Transfer, who was a classy horse that I had. He won over 50 races in his lifetime. He raced till he was 14 years old, and he made almost 200,000 just in overnights.
Okay, I see they're all in straight
Yeah,
line.
they're all in a straight line. These
Is
horses.
there any way they could make a break and get out of that, or
Yeah,
are
but
they?
you see, they're drafting off each other, similar to stock
Oh,
cars
that-
do.
really?
So the horse that's cutting the mile is actually using himself the most, and everyone else is saving themselves for a rush here at
Waiting
the end.
for the right moment.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time around, they go around twice in the sulkies, Andy. And the first time around, just sort of jumping position, I think, isn't
Yeah.
it, Bob?
Yeah.
I always felt that mine was more times winning if they only went around once.
Yeah, see, you hear same situation where I've been able to position the horse second over.
You're
Which is
second over
ideal,
here
yeah.
now, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually sitting fifth. And as they go past three-quarter pole, he's going to have to make a move to go around this horse because that horse hasn't engaged the leader at all.
and you're going to break.
So I
get
had to
out.
move. Yeah, I moved to the outside. See how that horse?
That's you moving
coming
out the
back?
outside there now.
You're coming to the outside.
Now, what would happen if another driver would decide to do that at the same time you decided?
Well, you have to watch out for each other out there.
Can you
because-
actually see one another? When
Oh
you're
yeah.
looking
You
straight ahead that
you
way?
can talk right to each other. I mean,
that
they
right?
they
Yeah,
get
they're pretty
verbal.
close.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
You hear a lot of conversation out there.
I can imagine what you say to one another.
And he did hang on to win that race, and it shows the competitive spirit that he had.
Right.
That's
I
really
think
great.
he was like 12 years old at that time.
Okay.
Now, thoroughbreds, 12 years old, they're done, aren't they?
There are a few that still run. I'm
Do they?
sure most of your trotters don't all of them run to 12.
No.
Their most competitive years usually 3 to 5, I'd say.
I'm sorry, we have a phone call, Andy, I
Got
think.
another call. Okay. Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, Ross, what happened to Stage Colony?
Stage Colony. I sold Stage Colony, and he last to a man that lives in Kentucky, and he was racing in Florida this winter, and I think was third in his last start, which it was a major stake race at Gulfstream Park.
How about Pleasant Tap?
Pleasant Tap is in Kentucky right now. He is under the care of our West Coast trainer, who brought him from California to race in a stake race at Churchill around Derby Day.
Okay, thank you for calling.
While you mentioned that, Ross, tell us, how big is the Buckland Farms? We know it's big.
Well, it's a big operation. We usually have 200 plus horses. We have 3 different farms. One's in Gainesville, Virginia. Another one in Lexington, Kentucky. Both are used for breeding and raising of horses. And we have a training center in Aiken, South Carolina, where we teach the 2-year-olds, yearlings, and while they're turning, all the horses turn 2 at the same day, January 1st, even though that's not really their birthday.
Is that how it
And
works?
And same for standardbreds.
Is it?
so we teach them to go through their paces and learn how to be race horses there during the winter, and then they'll be farmed out to Buckland Farms, different trainers. They have 3 at this time. And some will go to California, some will come to me, and some will go to another trainer. And
You're pretty much on the East Coast.
I'm pretty much the East Coast. I used to go to Florida for the winter, but didn't go this winter. But we'll go to Saratoga with some horses, and
It's got to be a pretty exciting life, though, isn't it, for both of you? I mean, you go to all the tracks and then...
oh yeah, it's great. It's a great life. It's on the move. You meet a lot of influential people,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of action.
Yeah, it has to be. It seems like there's always something going.
Okay, you say there's 3 trainers and there's around 200 horses. So how
Well,
many do you
when I
really
say
get
200
involved
now, 80 some of those are brood mares. Now they're not racing,
They're not
and they have foals and they have yearlings and 2-year-olds, and so at one time we'd probably, Mr. Evans, who owns Buckland Farm, would probably have maybe actually in training racing would be 50 horses.
In the racing.
You're involved with all of those?
Well, I'll have one. I have had that many for him at one time, but usually I carry about 25 horses for him.
It's a nice bunch of horses. I think we have a call.
Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, this is for Bob Crowley. I
Okay.
was just wondering whatever happened to Happy Morrow.
Happy Morrow.
Happy Morrow was a horse that I raced local tracks. He was known when he was like 14. And he has a home up in Lancaster pulling an Amish buggy.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, a lot of them
Okay,
go up
wow.
there, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Let's go up there and see some rare horses still there.
I'm not sure if I know what this word is here, Bill. So
Is the thoroughbred the best of equines
As opposed to the Arabian horses?
Yeah.
Is it a better horse? Well, it all depends on what you want to use the horse for. I mean, horses are bred for different things, and that's why they have the different breeds.
Right.
I wouldn't want to offend any Arabians. To my mind, they're the best because I work with them. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that have Arabian horses and think that they're the best, and people have
Yeah,
standard
matter of
breds,
choice.
and people have Palominos and Appaloosas, and
we got a gal right here that has some Arabian horses.
Yeah, one of
How
our
about that?
camera ladies here.
Yeah.
In fact, she races out there at Delaware Park.
Okay.
Right, Betty?
How many places down do the owners get money? I guess that means how far down the
Yeah.
winning.
What position?
In
what
standard
position?
breds, they pay back to 5th place.
Down to 5th place?
Yeah, the winner gets half of the purse, and then it's a 25%, 12, 8, and 5.
Same thing in the...
usually the same. Different states are different things. Some just pay to 4th, some pay to 5th. Some tracks recently have been putting into practice where they'll actually pay everybody, but just a minimal fee would pay the jockey's fee just to try to help out. They wouldn't cut the win pot down, but some of the lower, the 2nd or 3rd, they take a percentage out of there and divide that up between the owners. So that, just trying to help
Everybody
them
gets a
pay
little
for,
something, Pay for the hay.
right, pay for the hay.
Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes.
Have a question for our guest?
Not exactly a question. I'm
Okay.
a groom who's rubbed both thoroughbreds and standardbreds, and I just kind of wanted to mention so that people at home would know that they take thoroughbreds down at the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky, also on the Grand Circuit out in DuQuoin and Springfield, and they hook thoroughbreds and prompt standardbreds in time trials, and that thoroughbreds can be hooked to tail carts, just so everybody knows.
Okay,
They
thank
did
you.
what?
Okay,
Yeah,
can you
she's talking
explain?
Yeah, she's talking about at the Red Mile, and they also do it up Syracuse, New York. They hold time trials where they actually try to better a horse's mark. It's not a race mark, and in the record book it'll show a TT next to it, but they use thoroughbreds as prompters to encourage these horses to perform, gives them something to race against.
Oh, they're racing outside of the...
They're not really racing. The thoroughbreds are galloping to a jog cart, trying to keep the pacer prompt,
Oh, okay.
for time. And they go
We're
for
running
world
out of
records.
time here, gentlemen, but...
Yeah, I think one thing we would like to know is, do you have anything coming up nearby or
Yeah,
in the
what's
near future? Or is there
exciting?
anything you can tell us that we can look for? Either
Bob,
one
we'll
of it?
start with you.
Yeah, I'm racing at Poconos
Poconos?
Oh, yeah?
now, yeah.
Ross,
And,
what's exciting over at Delaware? You're
Well,
not racing at Delaware, you
I'm
stay
not
there.
actually. My next horse that I run is in the Garden State Stakes at Garden State Park in Cherry Hill, and he runs an $85,000 stake on Saturday. So hopefully we can get a piece of that one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to mention too about matinee racing they're having at Cowtown and at Chester Chesapeake City down in Maryland.
Matinee races.
On Sunday afternoons through the month of April, it's races to help young horses be in race situations where
At Cowtown.
it's free. You can go out and have a lunch and
Sunday
watch some
afternoons.
standardbreds race over at
This is
Cowtown.
every Sunday in April? Or?
Yeah.
Man, that's
something I didn't know.
No, I didn't either. I went to slip out there.
Hey, you have any predictions? Oh,
It's early in the season.
early in the season?
Yeah, it is early. I have some nice 2-year-olds that'll be coming up from Aiken, South Carolina. Hopefully one of those will be my horse that I win the Kentucky Derby with, or the
Boy,
Breeders'
that'd
Cup.
be a thrill, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, you're getting close. Oh, yes, the little brown jug, and that was for you, Bob. What is the little brown jug? And that's not something we drink out of, I know.
No, it's not. That's
We got 2 minutes.
a race for 3-year-old pacers that's on par with the Kentucky Derby. It's for standardbreds. It's one of the Triple Crown races for 3-year-old standardbreds.
For the trotters and so on. Okay, well,
Okay, Bill.
gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure tonight
been a
having
real
both of you
education
here.
for me, Bill.
Yeah, it's an education for
Really
Andy.
learned a lot.
I just had fooled around a little bit with around the horses. I know just enough to be dangerous, I guess you might say. But I do like it, and we'll have to go over and see Ross and Bob
Yeah,
over
we'd
at the
love
track
to
and
come over and
let
see
them educate us a little more. And we should have you two fellas back before the racing season's over, because I know, just look at the calls that came in, so you know how many people are watching and interested in it.
We'll definitely have you back if you're willing to come back. And I do want to mention, Bill, before we go off, that we have some real good shows coming up. May the 7th, we have Andrew Jones, the Flying Wine Man. He's going to teach you all about wine. He's been with Prince Charles and the royal family. And
We got 1 minute in.
And the 23rd, we're having an exciting show, Sassy Silks. They're going to come on with all their beautiful lingerie.
That's always a program that a lot of my buddies are always asking for. We have a big request for that one.
And next week, you tell about that, Bill?
Oh, yes, yes.
So,
Jerry McCarthy who worked for Harry Leona Helmsley. Don't miss that show.
okay, as we say each week, for every action, there's a reaction. It's an infallible law. Think before you act. It could save you a lot of heartaches. Thank you. God bless you, and good night. And thank you, Ross. And